All right. I think it's about 3 years ago. I was in a setting similar to this. I was teaching Switch for 7th and 8th grade students. Something happened though. I call it like an inciting incident happened within me. Within them, it was nothing else. It was just a normal, average Sunday. They'd come, meet, show up, hang out, hear me talk, do music, and then go to a small group time. But as I was teaching, I kind of looked out and I saw just this sea of glassy-eyed young people. Raise your hand if you've seen that too. Anybody else? All right. And take a second to look around. The people that don't have their hands up don't teach or aren't being honest or just don't know it yet. But man, I just looked and it grieved me. To start calculating how much time I spend each week developing and teaching. How much time do I spend creating a series or a super series? How much time do I invest in that? And what I realized is I was investing my time so extraordinarily poorly. So, ironically enough, I want to talk to you about a big shift we made in our student ministry. We no longer do live teaching in a large group. What we've done is we've shifted everything to a digital small group format. And we have had just incredible results based off that. So I'm going to teach you the very way that I don't think is effective to tell you about a better way that we do teaching now. So it's a fine irony, right? No, I just quit. I quit teaching. I drove home that night and I told my wife, I'm like, you know what, I quit. And she kind of looked at me startled, as she should. She said, "When you quit?" I go, I quit teaching. This isn't working, it doesn't connect. I go, something's missing. And she's like, well, we explore it, flesh it out. And what I did is, one day I came across the TED Talk about the Khan Academy. And I saw that and I go, man, that's a great idea. I go, where are all the great thinkers outside of the church? Where are all the people that are innovating and doing just spectacular things? Why are they located outside of our walls? Why aren't they inside? And that just kind of inspired me. Like, I want to do that. I want that to be part of what we do. So we quit. We quit teaching. And I want to share with you just kind of a few of the effects that have happened because of that. We've kind of experienced like 3 different kind of like residual effects based on that shift in philosophy. And the first one, really immediately impacted volunteers. Like what happened with volunteers was amazing. I guess I'm going to ask you to raise your hand again. I'm sure half of people do it, which is excellent. Raise your hand if you've had to ask for volunteers, or even to the point beg for student volunteers. I don't know if that's you. That is definitely the church culture of Woodland Valley Chapel. If your hand's not up, I would love to apply to your church. Please, there's an opening, because that would be great. But what I did is I quit asking. I quit asking parents they want to volunteer quit asking young people young adults they want to volunteer. What I started doing was I realized we have a better system, a better format. Instead of being subjected to 30 minutes of teaching, they have 20 minutes at the end of the service to kind of have a small group discussion. Or our small group time is completely disconnected from our regular large group teaching time on a different night. I give them most of the night. A majority of our night is small group based. So we still have a large group experience, which is teaching, or not teaching, which is worship and just announcements and games, but it's really quick. Then after that, they're 45 minutes, 50 minutes, 60 minutes in their groups. And what that did is that communicated to volunteers, you're not just crowd control, you're not just babysitting, you're not just piggybacking off of the paid professional. What you're doing is if you don't show up and do what you do well, the whole night falls apart. I distributed ownership. And now, instead of asking for volunteers, I share the vision of what we do. I said, hey, what we do, man, if you want to be with us, I'll be less of the youth pastor those kids than you'll be. You will have a tremendous amount of ownership. And they want that. They don't want to just sit on the sideline. And the next group that got really affected was our parents. Man, what happened with parents was amazing because, we post our episodes that we show on Sunday night, we post them on Thursday, the few days before. And what happens is parents watch it, and then what began to happen is that now parents, when they go to pick up their kid, they either watch the episode or a lot of them listen to it from their drive home to Woodman to pick up their students. And, typically, especially with boys, when you pick them up, say, hey, what'd you guys talk about? What'd you learn? The answer is resounding, nothing, I don't know. Well, guess what? That's not an answer anymore, because your parents heard everything that you heard. Your parents saw the talk sheets because we uploaded them to our website, and they download them. They wind up going through different or similar questions as you do in group. So what we've had is we went from these struggling to get parents to come to meetings, struggling to get parents involved. Woodman's a substantially large church, and we would get, and this is an exaggeration, 7 or 9 parents that would show up to parent meetings for our student ministry, for our middle school ministry. But when we shifted and gave them a lot of ownership, and we shifted and said, hey, listen, if us, the professional youth workers, if I'm plan A for your student's spiritual development, then your student is screwed. They don't have a chance. If you're not plan A and I'm not plan B, if you're not plan A, then I don't know what they're going to do. Well, you have to be plan A. And instead of just kind of giving them a charge, I gave them a lot of resources. I gave them the resources and output them with exactly what we do on Sunday nights. So students are going through the material more than once a week. And now our next parent meeting, we had over 230 parents come. And do you know why? It's because they had a role. It's because I was able to handle. I loved live group teaching, live large group teaching. I haven't done it in 2 years, so even this is so unnerving for me. I've unlearned how to do this almost. But I loved it, but I gave it away because I knew that it was better in somebody else's hands. I knew if I could shift the content, if I could shift the paradigm and equip adults and equip parents to start pointing to their young people instead of me all the time, they're going to have healthier young people. Last and certainly not least, the third group that was just substantially effective was our students, obviously. And there's a lot of great things with viral teaching, and it was excellent to watch their smart posts and things like that. But what has happened now is our students, they do our student leadership. It's not just a lecture. What it is it's an active participation. What they do is they take the episodes to school, and instead of a midweek experience, which is pulling away from another night at home, they're leading small groups in their school at lunch. I oversee 12, 13, 14-year-olds. And last year we had 11 groups at 7 different schools. We saw over 100 students touched by our ministry because a student had ownership of something. It wasn't like a service project. This was an ongoing thing that they had actual honest ownership of. It kind of lived and died on their shoulders. And what's interesting is that when you challenge students to go to a certain level, they don't kind of dissolve or shy away. It seems like they approach it and they exceed it. In fact, group split because they get too big for the classroom. And it's because we challenge them to go to a place where, not where we see that they're at, but where we honestly think of who they could be. And the last bit about students is, the school groups have redefined campus ministry for us. I get, in Colorado Springs, I blame folks in the family for us having such a horrible reputation in town with Christians in Colorado Springs. The main doors are closed, locked, gun guarded for youth pastors to come in. But now I'm in 7 different schools 11 different times a week. And it's great when I go to games and a kid that I've never seen before says, hey, I've seen you on TV and I think I'm part of what you do. And it's amazing. That happens so often. And here's why. Here's the whole point of this. It's not like, hey, you all should do exactly what I'm doing. But what I did is I was willing to take something that's foundational to student ministry, live large group teaching, and I was willing to make it a sacrificial lamb instead of a golden calf. And I was just willing to say, maybe this isn't the most effective thing. Maybe this kind of communication doesn't always resonate. Maybe this misses a lot more than it hits. And it's been amazing. And my hope, and I know that's a lot, and if you want to connect or see more, the bigger story about Switch TV is on the group article. You can check it out, it's on switchtv.me. But the hope is that if we're honestly and truly created in the image of God, we really, really, truly are, then creativity is not a personality. it's not, it's something innate in us. I think everywhere, inside of all of us, no matter what we put out to people, and there is an artisan in there, waiting to create. There's dying for you to say, hey, these foundational things that I thought were irreplaceable in my ministry that are not working, we haven't changed since the 90s, maybe I can do something more with this. Maybe there's more. Maybe if I start distributing leadership and giving it away, maybe people will step up. I promise you, there is an artisan in you. If you're like, that's not me, no, trust me, it's in you. Dying to be released. Dying to take over something in your ministry and change it and make it better and make it good. Thank you.